The Houston Cougars win the Big 12 regular season. They win the Big 12 tournament by a score of 72-64 over the Arizona Wildcats. Houston finishes the year 30-4 overall and 19-1 in the Big 12. A truly dominant season. They were able to get this win over a really hot Arizona team without one of their starters in Jawan Roberts. Milos Uzan was incredible in this game. 25 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, a lot of timely shot making. Emmanuel Sharp seems to be back to what he was, kind of pre-injury. And, Arizona ran into some struggles with shot making. Caleb Love had a in-between type game, 19 points and 19 shots. But we talked about on the preview, someone has to be able to take shots and make shots during this game. Just didn't fall like it did in the last game. But truly impressed with this Houston team and what they were able to do down an all Big 12 level starter in Jawan Roberts. But I'll throw it to you first, Subi, to get your thoughts on this. Obviously the Arizona Wildcat fan, but just in general, what are your thoughts on this game?
So you mind if I channel my inner LeBron first?
Please,
All right.
please.
I got the Liverpool jersey on. I'm sitting courtside. First of all, happy birthday, Carter.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
First of all, let me say happy birthday. Did
it.
you have a good day?
Oh, well, you know what? Michigan State lost, but I did have a great day. Spent time with family, spent time with the son, so can't complain.
That's what I love to hear, man. Well, we had to kick it off with that happy birthday, cake and candles, as they all say.
So someone today to me said, "Happy umbilical cord reunion." I don't even know what to do with that. That's a new one for me, but I thank you, I guess.
I'm taking that one moving forward. To the game, though, Milos Uzan, have mercy on me, bro. I mean,
What? Why me?
no, it's not even that. It's just like he was amazing. It's a virtuoso performance. It was his career high, by the way. And I'm a little tired of giving up career highs, but this guy was just electric. He didn't have any turnovers. I mean, it was truly one of the best games you can play at the biggest game of the year, really, if you want to consider that for Houston. He was perfect. Like he really was almost damn near perfect. I thought a unsung hero of this game though for the Cougars was Javier Francis.
Mm-hmm.
He had 6 points, 7 boards. He had a little bit of a spurt in the second half where he was very active on the boards. He was creating second chance opportunities. He was finishing around the rim. And then at the end of the game, when the game was still kind of in the balance, and this is just prototypical or symbolic of these two teams, maybe more so Houston because they always come up with 50-50 balls. I forget who it was that got the ball punched out by KJ Lewis, but Javier Francis got it rim or attacked the rim and dunked it. And I think that put him up for, which was just enough. So I thought Francis was an unsung hero and he was tremendous. Emmanuel Sharp, really good. The thing with Houston is they shot pretty well from three, and I know that they're a good shooting team as it relates to percentages.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't necessarily take a ton. But in this game early on, right, Arizona just had a ton of breakdowns. And when I say a ton, three that I can remember. And when you go up against Houston, that's like way too many as it is. There were just some breakdowns. Arizona clamped up a little bit during the middle of the game and was challenging some shots. There weren't any shots though from Houston where I was just like, come on, give me a break. It was, yeah, some of these were open and they're a good shooting team. So I thought they played well from three. I thought Houston towards the end, most importantly, Cart, and this is what happened in Tucson, they showed a little bit more poise. And Henry Vasar said as much post game as well. And I kind of agree with his statements. He said, look, we had him beat in both of those games and first stretch. I mean, you could argue that, fine. But he did say like Houston towards the end of the game had more poise, and that's exactly what happened. If I shift to Arizona and we talk about the end of game stretch, Cart, I think it was a 2 point game or maybe a 1 point game, and offensive possessions included a Jaden Bradley step back air ball, a
Mm-hmm.
KJ Lewis three. By the way, those are your two worst free throw shooters or 3 point shooters that get minutes. And then Caleb Love traveled. I think he stepped
Good.
on Henry Vasar's foot.
Mm-hmm.
Mistakes there. Houston didn't make mistakes. That's kind of your ball game. And really, Cart, what we've seen is that you have to put together a perfect damn near perfect performance to beat Houston.
Yeah, especially if Houston's play. Honestly, I'm kind of mad at the Big 12 because it was actually someone that commented on our YouTube video and was like, Arizona's or sorry, not Arizona, Houston is a really good percentage 3-point team. And I'm like, yeah, they are, but they really don't take a lot. Like they don't want to do that. In this Big 12 tournament, they have like consistently gotten up a good amount of 3-point shots and they're hitting it at like a 40% clip almost. And that makes this team so dangerous because when you're playing Houston, and like I noticed it in this game, you talked about the moments where like, Bradley took a bad shot. KJ Lewis took interesting shot. Caleb Love had the traveling situation. That just does Houston doesn't do that. They don't. And it's a credit to Sanson, it's a credit to the players, but they don't turn the ball over. They force turnovers. They don't take bad shots. Like I think the only bad shot that was taken during this whole Big 12 run was a JoJo Tugler 3 in the BYU game when they were up 20. Also, he got pulled because he took that shot. Like Sampson wasn't having that. So it's like this team is I don't mean to just, go off about Houston, but to relate it to Big Ten play, like I always like to do. As an Arizona fan, if I'm you, Subi, I am yes, there's moments you could have played better. There's guys could have played better. That's basketball, right? But this isn't one that you get to the end of and you're like, I mean, damn. Like, oh, like damn, I let that one go away. Like, damn, I let that one slip. I think that Houston's a really good basketball team and good players make good basketball plays. And that's the nature of basketball. Someone has to win, somebody has to lose. And even the smallest of margins make a difference, whether it's an offensive rebound, whether it's a turnover, a shot selection in a certain moment. Houston just does not make those mistakes. So you cannot make those mistakes because Houston doesn't. So I mean, for Houston to be where they're at, 30-4 in the season, 19-1 in the Big 12, regular season Big 12 champions, Big 12 tournament champions. This team is looking extremely poised to, have a one-way destination to San Antonio. And good news for Arizona is they're a good basketball team as well, and they can get there. And they had moments where they could have won this basketball game too. Like this was not like there's a world and a result where Arizona wins this basketball game, but it just wasn't today.
No, I totally agree. And again, I mentioned this in the preview. Arizona's always going to fight. They are always going to be competitive and they're going to go down swinging. They're not going to lay down. They were down 10 to Houston in the second half. That was an easy opportunity for them to let go of the rope.
Mhm.
But instead, they actually clawed back and took the lead. But you said it, Houston just it makes more winning plays towards the end. And I'm not upset. I'm not downtrodden because at the end of the day, I really don't know how much this would have done for Arizona's seeding. They're pretty much looking at a 4 or 5 worst case scenario, but they fought. They showed me something in this tournament. You beat Kansas in Kansas City, which is a good win. You beat a red hot Tech team, albeit they were missing some players. And I know Houston was missing Jawan Roberts as well, but I'm not terribly upset. Um, here's what I will say though. They got nothing from Anthony Delorso and nothing from Trey Townsend. And I swear, man, Houston, they I feel like they read press clippings, not their own, but they read press clippings and they're like, "Oh, this guy's getting a little bit of momentum. Let me
Yeah.
go ahead and just
Let me
completely
let me shut that out.
sever that." Like, "Oh, BYU's. You guys seen this about BYU? Let's bottle them up. 15 nothing to start." Trey Townsend's gaining a little bit momentum. 8 minutes. This game ain't for you, big dog. Sorry. Like it's just, I swear they just take that stuff personally.
Yeah.
But they're tremendous, man. And I have a great deal of respect for them as well. And I want to read a quote real quick, Card. I'll try and breeze through it. But
Are you good?
Tommy Lloyd, uh, he's really throwing down the gauntlet in terms of challenging his players. So someone asked him what makes Houston such a tough team. And he said, obviously, Kelvin Sampson saw some matchups he wanted to target in the second half, and he did. And it's disappointing for me that we have good players too, and our guys shouldn't be able to be targeted like that. So individually, you got to answer the challenge. I don't know what else I can do. I guess I can go zone. I can do that, but you've got to own the challenge. They're literally isolating you and targeting you, and that's obvious they're doing it. So step up and get it done. That was disappointing to me in the second half that we weren't able to do that. He's kind of right. I don't want to absolve Tommy Lloyd but he's kind of right. Like Milos Uzan got the ball and he was like, food.
Yeah, it was no like screen. It was do him, and he did it. He,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, he absolutely did. Last couple thoughts. I got a little bit thing to end on, but real quick, I will say Kelvin Sampson is kind of Tommy Lloyd's daddy. So
Well, okay, but in fairness, who isn't a son of Kelvin Sampson?
sure, but there's three losses under the belt for Tommy Lloyd. One coming in the NCAA tournament as a higher seed. Now I remember that was in the Sweet 16, Tommy's first year. Arizona had Ben Mathurin, they had Dalen Terry, two NBA players. They had Christian Coloco, who's getting some run now for the Lakers. But I remember going into that, I was like, Houston. I think Houston might have been a 4 or 5, but I was like, nah, Houston's going to grind us into dust, and they kind of did that. So that was the first loss, and obviously these two. So
Was that the Grimes Sasser team?
I think they were on that team for some reason. I just remember Fabian
Fabian
Washington,
White.
Fabian White. Thank you.
Fabian White. Yep.
He was on that team too. So, I mean, look, Tommy kind of acknowledged it too, and acknowledged what you're saying also, which is he said in the post game, this team's the king of the Big 12.
Yeah. Also, like I'm so we've done this with a couple of the teams, like looking ahead type situation. Milos is a junior.
No,
Like they're gonna get
no.
they're gonna get Milos back. They're gonna get Emmanuel Sharp back. Tugler will be back. This is a Houston team that is, I think, actually currently has the number one recruiting class. They're gonna get Kristen Nack. They're gonna get Kingston Fleming. They're probably gonna pick up someone in the portal like this. Yeah, spoiled Houston fans. I mean, not
Well,
spoiled. Not,
yeah, they got to get a title.
they're gonna get one. They're gonna if it's honestly if it's not this year, it's next year. And who knows? Like the title of the March Madness picture is just so different. You really never know. I mean, shit. Excuse my language. We're probably talking about this differently if Jamal Shed doesn't like break his ankle last season. Literally.
100%. I mean, you said they got a track to San Antonio last year. They what was it, Houston, right?
Houston. Yeah. No,
In
no.
Houston.
Phoenix.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Arizona pissed away that opportunity, of course.
So,
Uh no, but like I'm thinking to myself, though they're definitely beating Duke. Shed goes down.
right. So you never know. But look, in these Big 12 tournament settings, it's like you're at that point and you make it to this point. You want to win it so bad because you made it there, right? And Arizona had the chance and they wanted to win it because they made it there. But on the same time, you got to take a step back. I did the same thing earlier today, Subi, as a Michigan State fan. I had to take a step back and I was like, you know what? Wisconsin won today. They played better than Michigan State. That's basketball. I'm gonna be a 2 seed next week, and I need to go into the NCAA tournament. I need to win the game, and I'm getting everybody out healthy. And if anything, use it as motivation. I hope I see that team again. I hope I see somebody else in the tournament. Same thing for Arizona. I think obviously some guys could play a little bit better in spots, but at the same, this is part of being in the tournament setting. You still have a chance. This isn't the end all be all. Still a lot more to play for. Um, you got beat by a better team today that played better.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, and it's a game to game situation. I guess I'll ask you lastly here. I mean, and it might be the same as the season, but what is the biggest concern maybe that you saw in this game that could carry over into March?
Mm.
I mean, the 3-point shooting was abysmal in this game. It was 5 for 18.
Yeah, but you got to take all that with a grain of salt against Houston, I think.
Great on the Houston scale. That's like six.
Yeah.
Let's call that 8 for 20.
Thank you. The eight seems to be the magic number.
There you go.
But I don't know, man. I don't know if there's anything from this particular game. Maybe just end of game poise, but it's not like I didn't know that already. Like Arizona has a penchant for playing like dummies towards the end of games. But I think overall from this tournament, I saw a lot of defending while fouling. I mean, they had to battle foul trouble a lot of these games, and they had to go stretches without some key figures on the floor, and some opponents got to the line way too easily and way too often. So I think from this stretch of 3 games, which was overall very impressive, defending without fouling was something that was a little upsetting to me. And the last thing I'll say about Arizona, you're right, Cart. Like, I'm not stressing too much because they lost, but it just added another supporting bullet point under my thought that they'll compete. They're a good team, but they are not going to beat the elite teams.
Mm,
They competed against Duke, wasn't going to happen. That was, and before Duke was really Duke. So they lost that game. Wisconsin, who's playing for a Big Ten championship, Wisconsin's offense went crazy. And guess what? John Tonje had his career high
mm,
against Arizona. They hung tough, but then Wisconsin raced away tonight. Houston, or twice against Houston, I should say, this season. So that's okay with me because all I care about is winning 4 games. Everyone's talking about winning 6 games. I just want to get to a Final Four, man. I don't care what happens from there because I just like, look, I'm sure you know this as a Michigan State defender. Everyone's like, oh, Tom Izzo only has 1 title. He's got a bajillion Final Fours, though, and I think that is the barometer for greatness, really. And Arizona hasn't gotten there in approaching a quarter century, which
mm.
is just so brutal. So I'm over here being like, I think they can win. No, I actually don't think they can win 4 games, but you're not going to, I doubt you play a Houston in the Sweet 16.
Right. The thing, if you get, we said this on, I think we said this to BYU on the last one. If you're playing Houston again, you're probably in at least the Elite Eight. So like you
Mm-hmm.
have a chance to go to, so like it's you're gonna eventually play good teams in the tournament. You got to see how it lays out. Um, Now last thing on this one, because you mentioned end of game situation for Arizona and just kind of in general, Arizona maybe fouling too much. Do you believe in this current team that maybe changes could be made where end of game situations are fixed?
No,
No. Okay, so there's no, oh, but this could happen. Like this is what this team is.
I don't trust this team to win a game that's like 1 possession,
Mm,
is what I'll say. I mean, I guess they did it against Iowa State, but it took a miracle shot. I don't trust. I need like a 6 point lead with 30 seconds left.
yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? One way to avoid that, don't get into that situation. I
Yeah,
I guess that's one way to take it.
I'm telling you, I said it on this video already, but there were 3 possessions that were just god awful when it was a
Yeah.
1 point game. And in the preview card, remember when I was like, "Can't you see Caleb Love like 2 bad shots in a row and it blows open?" I'd rather that than Caleb or than Jaden Bradley and KJ Lewis taking threes. I'd rather Caleb Love go hero ball if that's the shots we're gonna get.
Right. Even before that one KJ, or not KJ, the Jaden Bradley bad shot before the under 4 timeout, he had like he tried to step back like on the right wing and like dribbled off his leg kind of. Like he got it knocked off his leg. He's trying to call for a review with 4 minutes left. Love that from college players, by the way. They call for reviews when it's down to 2 minutes. Like that's exactly what you should do. But yeah, all you can do is kind of hope that if your team gets in that situation again, somebody steps up and makes plays. That's basketball. The only bad part about it is you just told me not many good personnel on this team to trust, and that's it. Like there's guys that have the ability for sure, but you haven't seen it throughout the season. But if they're saving it for March, maybe they are.
Last dude I trusted was TJ McConnell and Nick Johnson. That was a while ago.
Can I actually? All right, really last thing.
You're good, man.
I keep doing this, but like I gotta ask, who and where did Conrad Martinez come from?
From Spain. And yeah, it elicited some tweets from me where I was just like, Conrad minutes in all caps. Yeah, he's from Spain, diminutive little fella.
Dominion.
I mean, a lot of people think whenever he gets into like regular season games, people say that he's Tommy's little pet project or a passion project that he just won't let go. He's not super impactful, but he's kind of just a fan favorite.
He's
He can
like
play.
he got in last game, had a steal and a bucket, but like this is 2 games in a row he's got in.
That was a momentum shifting steal as well. And again, though, Cart, he came in last game because Jaden Bradley was in foul trouble.
Yeah.
So, look, whether or not he's going to be on this roster next year, I definitely think he can contribute to maybe a lower major team, but he's kind of like a fan favorite.
Yeah. I feel like Tommy Lloyd's like trying to like Conrad is like this little seed, a little pumpkin seed, and he's trying to like water him and turn him into Kirk Risa at the end of the day. Like just
Turning him,
I'm
turning him into Kirk.
sorry.
This used to be point guard. You developing the likes of Mike Bibby bro.
Listen,
I'm like
hey,
Steve Kerr.
you got Jaden Bradley. Jaden Bradley needs to learn how to stop. I know he's an aggressive player, quick hands. He does. He played 38 minutes, but I think a lot of his minutes were hampered by the fact that he had to be conservative because of his fouls.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's the point. We talk about how aggressive and physical Arizona is. This is kind of the negative side of that, is that they can run into foul trouble. But look, this is nothing to hang your head about necessarily. We're not hanging out the moral victory banners here. Sucks to lose. You got there. You win against Houston. I honestly would have been scared for how Subi showed up on this post game, but um, still a lot for both these teams to play for. Congrats to Houston on the Big 12 championship, regular season, and Big 12 tournament sweep. Subi, I'll leave it to you after all the recasts and previews that we've done. I don't have to recap it anymore, but we went from Colorado, Cincy. I mean, we were there in the trenches on the first day of the Big 12 tournament, and we finally get to the end here. I'll let you get the parting words here before we get out of here.
Yeah, brutal for us because Oklahoma State lost, and then Cincinnati lost both of our guys. But no, in all seriousness, I think a big thank you is what I want to say. First and foremost to you, Cart, for jumping on and just being an awesome co-host. I had a blast chatting Big 12 hoops with you. Obviously, you're one of the best dudes to chat college ball with on the internet right now. So thank you, Cart. Greg, also want to thank Greg because he gave me the opportunity to hop onto his channel and contribute. I know a lot of folks are just like, when they see my face, they're like, "Where's Greg? Where's Greg?" And internally, my response is, "I didn't know he was your daddy," but like, I don't say that. Greg is giving me the opportunity and others the opportunity to jump on and leverage his platform. So I appreciate Greg. Thank you very much. And then behind the scenes, JK, absolute bell cow,
It's just
continues to push the ball forward, man.
it's like the MLB playoffs, and we're just keep throwing our starter out there on short rest because like we need him. It's an elimination game, and he just continues without Tommy John surgery, just keeps delivering.
That's right, man. This guy's averaging 4 yards a tote. He's racking up innings. What's another? I don't know shit about hockey, so I don't know if I can do that. But JK editing, posting the nonsense that we spew. So Cart, thank you. Greg, thank you. JK, thank you. Sleepers, this has been a blast. Hopefully, I get to see you guys in the NCAA tournament.
100%. Looking forward to it. We're gonna have all types of March Madness content on here. Subi's definitely gonna be on the channel more. Shout out to Subi. I mean, I've had a blast chopping it up with you. Many late nights talking Big 12 hoops, wondering why Kansas UCF win the overtime. Jordan Ivy Curry. I can't wait to tell stories to my grandkids about where I was when the Milos Uzan Big 12 tournament championship game happened. But we thank everybody for tuning in. This will be the last recap of the Big 12 tournament. Be sure to tune into Supers Media YouTube channel. We will have a lot more content as always, daily episodes, and also previews and recaps of every single NCAA tournament game. We have you all covered. Be sure to tap in. We thank you, and we are signing out.